Good afternoon, Mr. Mark Chesney and Miss April Clements, or Mrs. if you're married. Uh, Thank you for your reply to the information that I placed in response to Dr. Kodo's question, and allow me to delve into some of the points that you made, and I will try to answer your question and reply to the things that you said um, with some intelligent feedback. Let's start with Mark. Emerson, while some of your opinions may be true, I don't agree with everything you say. I recently hit 23 years, and I can assure you the commands I have been assigned to were not toxic. But there are commands that are considered toxic. We see it all the time in the Army, Navy, and Air Force times where the leadership triad gets fired. Yes, I do agree there is sexism, racism, office politics, and cutthroats. But this exists in the civilian sector as well. Just ask my wife about her boss when she worked for the city treasurer's office. Mark, first let me thank you for your 23 years of service. Um, and let me let you know up front, Mark, that I'm real blunt. Because I found over the years that the reason why a lot of times we can't get to the bottom line on a lot of subjects is because people don't have the courage, the wisdom, the integrity to be blunt. Let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. They put me in charge of downgrading or eliminating the amount of sexual assault in the battalion. They gave me that task, and immediately I understood why there's so much sexual assault and sexual harassment that goes on in the military. And the real reason is because people are liars. What do I mean by that? By legal definition, rape in the military goes on all day, every day. Okay, what do I mean by that? Okay, legally, if a woman takes one drink, or a man smokes one joint, pops one pill, and you have sex with them, that is statutory rape. Whether she's your wife, girlfriend, whatever, it does not matter. Legally, if you have sex, thank you. If you have sex with someone who has used drugs, legally it's rape. So the powers that be told me, oh, Hazard, you can't tell them that. People go to the club and drink and go back and have sex all the time. Is that rape? Yes, it is. legally, because if that female wakes up in the morning and decides that if I didn't have a drink, you wouldn't have got no sex, guess what? You got a rape charge. And the police are coming to your house to pick you up so we can discuss it. And we already know in the military, when it comes to sexual assault and sexual harassment, you're going to be guilty until proven innocent. I said the reason why y'all can't deal with this problem is because you don't tell, especially guys, the truth. The truth is, when you lay down with this female and have sex with her, you are trusting her with your freedom. Because if she wakes up the next morning and decides, you know what? I didn't consent. And I wouldn't have consented if I didn't have a drink. You just got a rape charge. So you got to be honest with people. That rape legally goes on across the country all day, every day. Well, when does it become a problem? It becomes a problem when she wakes up in the morning and decide to call the authorities for whatever reason. Because you pissed her off. She just didn't like the sex was bad, whatever. It's going to become a problem when she wakes up in the morning and calls the police. Now you got a problem. So you need to let soldiers know that if they engage in sex, they are putting their freedom on the line. And even if the person did not ingest any alcohol, a woman can literally write a written statement. Yes, Johnny can have some sex. She can do a video. Yes, Johnny can have some sex. Johnny can do 3 strokes. Between the 3rd and the 4th stroke, she can change her mind. And guess what? From the 4th stroke to the 20th stroke, when it took Johnny to get where he was going, that is rape, according to the law. Absolutely. The reason they could never get to the bottom of it in the military is they would never tell soldiers the truth. What did I tell them? I told them the truth. And guess what? The incidence of reported rape went down to almost 0 because people understood what they were getting themselves into. Now that you understand how I operate, let's talk about what you said here about you never served in a toxic command. That's pretty good. My answer to that is this, sir. You can't drown a shark. In fact, if you told a shark to look out for the water, he wouldn't know what you was talking about. Let me make it even more clear. I didn't realize that many of my family and friends were racist until I stopped calling white people crackers. Until I was no longer comfortable with blaming the white man for whatever went wrong, from global warming to everything else. When I stopped, when my character changed, then the light came on. I'm not judging you, but I'm judging the military because I spent plenty of time in the military. Like you said, this is not just the military. This is American society. So if you spent 23 years in the military and you never served in a toxic command and you never worked with racists and you never worked with sexists, I'm going to let you figure the rest of that out, brother. I'm going to let you figure that out. You spoke about the fact that your wife worked for cutthroats in City Hall. I believe that. The difference is your wife could quit. Soldiers can't quit, not without going to jail. Being in the military is the closest thing they can still get away with to slavery. Some of the conditions that I have lived under in combat, if you put a prisoner under those same conditions, they would sue the state and win millions of dollars. Am I right or wrong? So yeah, I respect the fact that your wife has dealt with sexism and cutthroats and office politics, but it's different in the military because you're trapped. You can't just tell your boss, you know what, I quit. Well, you can, but the consequences is jail. Unless it's time for you to re-enlist. And then so many people in the military are financially illiterate that they can't afford to quit. Because they got, like you said, you was only planning on doing a couple of years, but then you had a wife, kids. Next thing you know, 23 years done went by. Trust me, brother, I understand. You talked about the great things that the military did for you. Brother, I applaud that. And I'm here to tell you that there's nobody that loved the military more than yours truly. I laid my life down on the line for this country before I was even old enough to vote. I was 17 years old when I went to basic training. And I spent the majority of my adult life, you can add 31 and a half to 17, figure out how old I was when I got out of the military. Not only that, me and my daughter fought side by side in Afghanistan. So if anybody want to have a I Love America contest, bring it on, brother. Bring it on. Because my family and the Southern white Republicans have been fighting and dying for this country since the War for Independence. Trust and believe that. So anybody who want to have a I Love America contest, I welcome it. Ain't too many people gonna be able to stand their family next to mine when it comes to service to this country. And I'm not saying that to brag, I'm just being real. So we can have an I Love America contest, got it. But we can also sit here and deal with these facts, which is sexism, racism, office politics, and cutthroats of all colors. Times are changing. No, they're not. Although I'm no longer in the military, I still mentor those who are in the military. I'm a member of ROCKS, which is an organization on just about every Army post that mentors young officers. Look it up on the internet. Rocks. Yours truly. I'm still in the fight, brother. And ain't nothing changed. You still got racists, still got sexist, you still got a commander-in-chief who feel like he can grab women by the pussy. So you telling me times have changed in the military and the commander-in-chief brags about going backstage, looking at young women naked? And this ain't political. I don't care about politics. I'm a businessman. And no real businessman is political. Because our only political party is cash. Because whether you got a Democrat or a Republican, I still got to make money. I still got to make payroll. I still have families who depend on me for their survival. So I can really care less whether you got a Republican or a Democrat in the office. Truth be told. But you got a commander-in-chief who literally feels like he can walk up to women and grab them by the pussy. Those are his words. And you telling me things are different. When my daughter and I were fighting side by side in Afghanistan, the commanding general got relieved for having sex with his aide. And then the question comes out, well, how did this whole thing blow up? The whole thing blew up. Not because his wife found out, but because his aide found out he was sleeping with somebody else other than her and his wife. And I've watched this foolishness go on my entire military career, and I guarantee you, I will bet you my retirement and all of my residual income that no less is going on right now. So things are getting better? Doubt it. I know it's not getting better because I'm still listening to people who are out in the field dealing with it right now and counseling them and mentoring them how to not get caught up in that foolishness and how to overcome and be successful anyway. You thanked me for my years of service? Thank you, brother. And please, don't take anything that I have said personally. It's business, brother. You gotta, when you want to deal with issues like racism and sexism, you gotta take it and realize I'm not gonna get offended by the truth. When I joined the military and I ran into these real card-carrying Klan, let's lynch a nigga white boys. See, I was a racist, but I was racist light. I was the racist who had a white girlfriend on his arm and then would look at a black woman with a white boy and be like, what in the world is she doing walking with a white boy? Somehow in my world, only black men can date outside the race. So I had to realize that, yeah, maybe I don't hate all white people, but I do have a problem with white males. I do prejudge white males, which makes me prejudiced, which makes me no better than these card-carrying, let's lynch a nigga white boys that you work with on a daily basis. So either you are going to totally separate yourself from that type of an ideology, no matter what color, it's the same thing. Or you just as bad as they are. So I made a decision. Can't do it. When it came down to sexism, I wasn't raised that I was better than women. I was raised that you protect women. Until one day, one of my partners, I had won Platoon Sergeant of the Year. And one of my partners came up to me and said, "What is wrong with your platoon?" And I'm like, what are you talking about? I just won the thing. I'm feeling pretty good about me answering that question. I'm like, what you talking about, brother? He's like, "Where are your females right now?" I said, "They are in the office writing up all the maintenance paperwork." "Well, where are your male soldiers?" "They in the motor pool doing maintenance." Then he pointed to this female who was also a platoon sergeant that couldn't crank up a Humvee if you gave her a key and the owner's manual. And he said, "Hazard, you know where them kind of female leaders come from?" I said, "No, where did they come from?" "Male leaders like you." She was too cute to go to the motor pool and turn wrenches and change oil with the guys. She was so pretty that they couldn't help but to promote her. Now she a platoon sergeant, and your soldiers are down there maintaining her equipment because she don't know how to do it. And she can't train none of her soldiers to do it. You are the problem, Mr. Hazard. And I want you to ask yourself this. Them cute little soldiers you got up in the office, what's going to happen when one of them have a flat tire behind enemy lines in Iraq? And all she got to be able to do to get back to safety is change the tire. But you know why she's not going to be able to change that tire, Sergeant Hazard? Because you kept her locked up in the maintenance office because she was too pretty to change a tire. He patted me on my shoulder and then he walked away. Now I could have got mad. Who the hell are you to tell me how to run my platoon? I'm platoon sergeant of the year. Or I could take a deep breath and say, you know what? He right. You are sexist. You do judge people based on male or female. Yeah, she probably be better doing paperwork, and yeah, he probably would be better changing oil. And that makes you a substandard leader, Sergeant Hazard. So you need to tighten up. I'm sharing these things with you because the reason we can't get rid of sexism, reason we can't get rid of racism, reason we can't really teach people how to lead is because the truth hurts. And you got to be able to face the truth yourself before you can feed it to anybody else. So I'm going to look here in the camera and tell you, I know what it takes to overcome racism because I was a racist. I know what it takes to overcome sexism because I was a sexist. And if you were if you went through 23 years of the military and you didn't run into racism and sexism, you were part of the problem. I promise you. Because I didn't realize I was a sexist until somebody called me out on it. I didn't realize I was a racist until I ran into them card-carrying, less lynching nigga white boys that I had to work with every day. And then I thought about the same hatred and vitriol you hear them spitting, you spitting out the same thing. So either you're just going to admit that you just like them, you know better than them, or you're going to have to make a choice to not be like them. So before I could deal with racism, I had to deal with it within myself first. I had to see it inside of myself and deal with it. Same thing with sexism. All right. I know I get excited sometimes, and that's because leadership for me is serious. It's not just a subject for academic banter so you can get a grade. If I don't do the right thing, soldiers live and die in combat. If I don't do the right thing now as the CEO of corporations, people can't feed their families. I don't make payroll. I don't grow. This is serious. This is not just academic banter. This is real for me. And so if you see me getting excited, that's why. April. Let's talk about April. Let's see. In response to Emerson, I will say I agree 100% about the office politicians. This is an absolutely true statement. My transition was very difficult because of this very thing. I made rank fast because I caught on to the game early in my career. It really didn't matter how good I was at my job. What mattered was how many base events I participated in, volunteer hours, and being enrolled in school. That was how you got awards and promotions. Although I don't morally agree with that process, it was the process that was in place for me to make rank, and I was going to play the game to win. Now, 10 years later, like Emerson said, my uniform is in a shadow box, my degree is on the wall, but what did I really have to offer civilian world? Being that my hard skills were rubbing elbows with high ranks on base and talking socialization and networking were my strong points. Here I am, an insurance agent. Do I love it? Not really. But because of my military office politics, unfortunately, that is where it has landed me to thrive. April, thank you for your service. Let me clarify my stance on office politics. The fact that you decided to get educated, to get promoted, not a problem. I ain't got no problem with that. As a matter of fact, that was a great thing that you did. The fact that you politicked at base events to get promoted, I don't have a problem with that. As a matter of fact, I'm a vice president in an organization called Business Network International. So I am a professional networker. So I don't have a problem with people who network. What I have a problem with is sexist, racist, and cutthroats. I have a problem with people who use sexist ideology to hold other people down and hold them back. I have a problem with people who use race as a weapon against people to hold them down, to hold them back. And I have a problem with people who are just plain cutthroats, no matter what your race, color, creed, national orientation, or sports team affiliation is. If you're a cutthroat, I got a problem with you, period. So from what you were saying here, I don't hear you saying anything about you being a cutthroat. So there's nothing wrong with those other things that you did. As a matter of fact, I got educated while I was in the military. As a matter of fact, I did the Soldier of the Year boards and all of that type of stuff in order to get promoted. I don't have a problem with any of those pursuits for excellence. But when people sit back, plot and plan and try to cut people's throat, lie, cheat, steal, that's the kind of office politics I got a problem with. Networking, I don't have a problem with networking. And like I said, you can look it up on the internet. You can look in my LinkedIn profile. Emerson Hazard. It ain't but one of us out there because my father has gone on to the other side. I'm a vice president in Business Network International. So the skills that you develop, networking, that's a powerful set of skills. And I would ask you to call me 803-587-0770. Because if you are an insurance agent, which I am a licensed insurance agent, and that's part of the businesses that I run is insurance, credit repair, investment, real estate, to name a few, cryptocurrency. We'll talk about that. Call me. Don't feel bad that you stepped up and got your education. You don't owe nobody no apology for that. Ain't nothing negative about that. And anybody who got a problem with that, that's their problem. Life goes on. Now, if you went along with office politics, okay, now you know better. You done ran into this knucklehead, Emerson Hazard, that done hopefully turned the lights on. Who does this guy think he is? Only somebody who done been through it. Okay, I already told you earlier, I was a sexist, I was a racist. People evolve. So if you were these things back in the day, today you can change. If you weren't those things, then you don't owe nobody no explanation. You don't owe nobody no apologies for doing what it took to get ahead. I applaud that. Let's see what else you had over here. Yeah, eventually we all got to hang the uniform up. It was fun while it lasted, but it's even more fun out here. And there's way more money out here. And if you would like to find out what it takes to be successful in the business world, trust me, go on the internet. You ain't just got to listen to old loudmouth Emerson. Go on the internet, look up Dr. Ivan Misner. Ivan Misner, who is the founder of Business Network International. And I'll give you a couple of nuggets. If you are serious about being an entrepreneur, and that's what you are if you're working for a business, if you're an insurance agent, you should be networking 20 hours a week. Now, average agents, they network 6 hours a week. Now, okay, you can be average and you're going to get an average paycheck. But if you're trying to be way above 6 figures, you need to be networking 20 hours a week. So if those are the skills that you develop in the military, you develop some powerful skills. And I seriously suggest you give me a call so I can hook you up with Business Network International. That's where the money is, girlfriend. Don't even consider yourself, and I want to be a business person, if you don't want to learn how to network. Don't even try. Don't even just decide to be something else. Don't decide to be a business person if you don't plan on networking. Not going to happen. I mean, unless you just like Donald Trump and your dad writes you a small check for $1 million. You know what I'm saying? And even on top of that, in order to build what he has now, he still had to learn how to network. But yes, please don't feel like that that what I was saying was aimed at you. And even if it was, even if you did do some things, there was a time in my military career when I was a racist. I got rid of that within about the first, about 3 to 4 years. So for 3 to 4 years, there were people in the military who dealt with Emerson Hazard, the racist. Okay, I was probably a sexist for about the same amount of time. So for 3 or 4 years in my military career, there were females who, instead of me teaching them what they should have been learning, I funneled them into the office and turned them into secretaries. And I have to accept that. But that ain't gonna stop me from being who I am today. You know what I'm saying? But the problem with most people, they can't accept, okay, this is who I used to be, and now I'm gonna make a change. They just bury it. Oh no, I never saw nothing bad. I never did anything bad. Life is lovely. No, it's not. And no, you wouldn't. And if life has always been lovely, then that tells me you ain't never changed. Because life is ugly. And you have to make a decision to change yourself from ugly to lovely. All right. I thank everyone for taking the time, because I will run on less than 35 minutes, going on 36. I take the time. If you took the time to listen to this, I believe you will have received some information that can possibly change your life, cause you to be wealthy. If you're taking these courses, maybe you're thinking about becoming a business person. And if you're going to come out here in the business, you might as well get rich. So I'm going to tell you what you need to know. And if you want to reach out to me, reach out. I will tell you the uncut truth on what it takes to become wealthy. Thank you. God bless.